I recently learned that Trek has discontinued the Stache for next year, and I was sad when I heard that news. I'm here to tell you why the Stache is a great bike and why it should be missed. The Stache was named after one of the founders of mountain biking, a guy named Gary Fisher. Gary was known for his eccentric mustaches, and just like Gary, this bike is eccentric. Trek designed this bike in their research and development wing under an effort called Project Weird. What they wanted to do was design the most playful 29er out there, and I think they delivered. This rear triangle is weird. In order for Trek engineers to get this large 29 plus tire up and underneath the rider, they had to shorten this chainstay to 16.5 inches, and they had to move the connection point up above the front chainring. Also, they had to deform and bend this seat tube. This rear triangle is unlike anything you're going to see out there on the trail. Because Trek engineers pushed this tire up underneath the rider, I wanted to see what that did to the weight bias of the bike. So I set up a little test rig in my garage, and what I found was when the rider is seated, as much as 70% of the weight is biased to the back. Now that changes a little bit when the rider stands in the pedals, but only to 65%. I think Trek made a snappy and fun 29er. And it's my bike of choice whenever the trail has any features, flow, and fun. Out on the trail, any bump, rise, or imperfection, and this bike really loves to fly. Because Trek shortened the wheelbase, and it has grippy 3-inch wide tires, this thing is razor sharp in the corners. Because the weight is biased more to the rear, popping that front wheel over any root or rock or any other obstacle is very easy. Now the bad. Because of that small rear triangle, the bike can be a little bit harsh in the tail. I think Trek did a lot by adding 29 by 3-inch wide tires, the plus size, in order to compensate for that, so I don't always notice it. My Stache 7 has had a few modifications. Let's go over my build. The fork is a Rockshox Yari. It's basic on features, but it performs well enough. I may upgrade to a Manitou Magnum later. I've upgraded the wheel set to a set of Industry 9 Backcountry 450s. I had to do this because the Stache is harsh in the tail, and that broke the spokes on the mule foot rims that came with it. The Backcountry 450s use torch hubs. I've recently put on the largest tires that this frame can handle. They are Vee Bulldozers, and they come in 29 by 3¼ inches. They barely clear the seat tube and the fork brace. I upgraded the driveline to Shimano XT with Hollowtech cranks, and delivering power to the cranks is a set of Stamp 7s in large. I also use Shimano XT brakes with a 160mm rotor in the rear and a 180mm in the front. The cockpit elements are by Bontrager. The stem and bars are both part of their line series. My grips are Ergon. I run GA2s or GA3s depending upon the riding I'm going to do. The dropper post is a KS Lev that's been rebranded as Bontrager. It's been a solid dropper post. It does have a little bit of play in it, but that's my only complaint. On top of the dropper post, I run a fabric scoop seat. The Stache also comes with Trek stranglehold dropouts in the rear, and what that allows you to do is change the tire size that you're running. I've had a 27.5 on this bike before, and it's been really fun. Maybe I'll do a video on that someday. But what I plan to do with that next is put a single speed kit on the back of this, and I'll probably do a video on that too. If you're out on the trail and you see a bike with a weird high right chainstay, you likely just saw the snappiest 29er ever made. Later. This is not a good time, sir. This is not a good time.